Most people walk into an interview thinking that they're there to answer questions, but high performing leaders and executives know this. You're there to influence a decision. There's a big difference between presenting yourself and interviewing with influence. And, the challenges you might be experiencing are things like, maybe you've been going for roles and you've been pipped at the post every time. And all the feedback you keep getting is, well, it really just came down to the interview, or it came down to cultural fit, or, but the interview has a huge weight on that decision being made. So it's got to be right. Maybe some of the things you feel like are happening is that, you're on the back foot. You've got questions sort of coming at you, but you're not steering the conversation where you want it to go in an interview. Or maybe you're struggling to articulate yourself. Maybe you're struggling to be able to get your value across in a way that differentiates you compared to every other candidate. Or maybe the feedback you're getting is not in line with how you wanted to come across. And so, there's not necessarily a capability issue here. It's an influence gap that is actually going on. And look, there can be so many things that can be happening in an interview that is holding you back. But the three big ones that I really find when I'm working with people is they often, the three that I think that you could really hone in on. Number one is remembering that you're not just presenting, but you're actually positioning yourself. Panels aren't necessarily just listening for experience. Sure, they have, checklists and, capability checklists and all that sort of thing that they're doing and ticking boxes. But what they're really looking for is to test, how do you think, lead, and communicate under pressure? Presenting is just sharing information, but interviewing with influence is about shaping the narrative about who you are and why you are the right choice. The second thing is that to remember is that your presence matters so much more than your answers. At this level and at senior leadership levels, it's about your composure, your clarity, and your connection with them, because how you connect with them is they're going, well, this is how you're going to connect with leaders, other leaders in the team and in the organization. So your gravitas, your tone, your ability to stay succinct are all leadership signals of and signs of readiness for the panel. So influence is felt long before it's heard. And then the third thing is influence really requires intention. So as opposed to improvisation. So top leaders definitely don't wing it. They map their key messages. Some clients I've coached for 12 months in preparation for an interview. That's not uncommon. And so what we do is we anticipate behavioral patterns from the panel. We use influence skills to connect the experience of what you have with what the panel actually cares about. And that's things like risk and results and your leadership impact. So if you're really ready to go for your next interview and you want the clarity and the confidence and the message to really land in that interview, then it might be time for us to have a chat about interviewing with influence. I can help you to have a look at how you show up, really craft that leadership narrative that you want to drive home in that interview, and show that you're really ready to secure that role that you are truly ready for.